Hi there and welcome. In this video I'm going to be giving you a pick a card tarot reading, and there are going to be 3 groups for you to choose from. If you're watching this at the time of upload, there might be some Cancerian themes since we are in Cancer season at the moment, but for the most part I want you to take this as a timeless reading. And so what matters more is when you click on this video, when it shows up in your reality, and how you choose to follow your intuition to take the messages that resonate. Keep in mind that these are general readings, so it's important that you take what resonates and leave what doesn't. And with all of that said, now let's get into a quick meditation so we can get centered and grounded. That way you can follow your intuition to pick the right group for you and the messages that you're meant to hear today. If you're ready for the meditation, get seated in a comfortable position. Allow yourself to just sink into your body. Surrender to gravity. Relax the eyebrows, the jaw, and lower the shoulders. And here, let's take 3 deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and breathing out, let go. Deep breath in. And let it go. One more time. Then let go. Soften your entire body. Allow your arms and legs to be limp and loose. And bring all of your awareness down, down, down to the center of your chest. From the heart center that we listen to our intuition. This is where we follow internal guidance. Now, if you're ready, you can open your eyes if they were closed and look at the 3 groups before you. For group 1, we have clear quartz. Group 2, we have rose quartz. For group 3, we have black Obsidian. Notice which group stands out to you visually. Which group do you feel drawn to? Which group is calling you? You don't have to think too hard. Go with your gut instinct. Go with your first answer. Chances are you're going to find messages that are helpful in all 3 readings, So there really isn't a wrong answer. Go with your first choice and feel free to listen to the other readings if you feel called to as well. Once you've chosen your group, you can go down to the timestamps below and click on your reading, and I'll see you over there. If you chose group 1, clear quartz, then this reading is for you. Alright, group 1, so we will begin with tarot and then follow up with the Work Your Light Oracle deck. And we'll ask about your current energies first. By the way, I'm using the Golden Universal Tarot. I get asked about this deck a lot, so I need to remember to mention it. Starting off with your current energies, group 1. Clear quartz, group 1. Current energies. Okay. So the first card that we have is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a very slow moving energy. This is the only knight that has his horse fully in a standstill. He is a very grounded energy because he's of the earth element, and so he moves at a slow pace. He's very meticulous and he takes calculated action that is grounded in reality. This is telling me that perhaps you've been quite slow in making progress, finding it difficult to see progress perhaps. You've been just kind of taking things one thing at a time, really focused on reality in a grounded and realistic way. And you might have already experienced this, or this could be coming up very soon for you. This is the Eight of Wands, and the energy is just simply, if I could sum it up in one word, it would be momentum. So all of a sudden you're experiencing a lot of momentum. Fast forward, progress, a lot of movement. This can feel chaotic at times, like you're not sure how to handle yourself. You're not sure if you're doing the right things, if you're keeping everything under control, if things are contained. And the advice, I believe, comes through the Page of Cups here. Page of Cups is inviting you to embody the energy of this child. You want to keep an open heart and an open mind. You want to remain curious and playful as you move through all this energy. You want to live with your heart on your sleeve and know that, yes, you might get hurt in the process. Things can always go wrong. There's always that potential and risk, but nothing's worth living if you don't take risks. So live with your heart on your sleeve. Be open to expansion, learning something new about yourself and growing. And maintain this openness by being playful and curious and open-minded. So you might already be in this energy because I did ask for your current energies. So perhaps you're already embodying the Page of Cups and being open to all of this sudden movement in your life. And there might also be some spontaneity as well with all of this. This is the Page of this is the Knight of Wands, and this energy is spontaneous when it's upright. It can be impulsive when it's reversed. And so I want to remind you that if you're feeling spontaneous, make sure that it is spontaneity that's calling you to act and not impulsivity or compulsion. Because when we're acting impulsive, we're acting from habit. It's a feeling of, I need to do this because this is what I've always done. I need to do this because it's familiar. So that's my idea of impulsivity. We don't want to act from that space. But if what you're feeling is true spontaneity, if it's the feeling of, I'm really curious about this. I've never done this before. I don't know what it's going to give me. I don't know where this will lead, but I have a feeling that I should give this a try, that this could be interesting. So I'm going to give it a shot. So that to me is spontaneity. There's a curiousness to it, an element of surprise, like you don't know what it's going to give you. So I'd encourage you to act from that space if you're feeling, the need to act. If there's all this creative passion in you to just do something. Okay, now we're going to go into what you need to hear and advice from tarot. Interesting. Alright, so we'll start with the Knight of Cups. This is so beautiful. The Knight of Cups holds in his hand a cup full of emotions, and he wants to offer this to somebody. He has an offer. In the original Rider-Waite's illustration, he's adorned with jewels on his armor and his horse as well, I believe. And as you see in this image, there's a stream full of water, and he has to cross the stream. But he's slightly hesitant. He's not really moving just yet. And so he has something to offer. He wants to express his emotions, speak something into reality, but he's slightly hesitant because there's that risk of rejection always when it comes to expressing your emotions. And so the advice here is, you might be feeling hesitant. The advice for you is to cross that stream, cross that little hurdle of emotions, of fears, and show up. Give your offer fully. Express your emotions. Speak with honesty. And this doesn't have to be in romance, right? This could be any situation where you're required to show some emotions and to speak with maybe affection or express your emotional experience. So go ahead and do that. That's the advice. Cross the stream. Now we have the King of Cups. The King of Cups asks you to master your emotions. You don't master emotions by controlling them, by suppressing them, but rather you allow them to be as you sit with them, you hold space for them. So you want to be like the King of Cups here, sitting all high and mighty on his throne, and allowing the waves to be. The waves are still crashing against his throne, but he's not bothered. He's in full presence, and he's able to hold space for his emotions because he's so steady in his presence. So the advice here is for you to practice presence, to practice awareness, cultivating awareness for your emotions so that you're able to sit with them, hold space for them without judgment, without suppressing anything or fearing what's coming up. This is a time of learning to work with your emotions and obtaining self-mastery through your emotions. And third card for advice is the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is about review, evaluation, contemplation, and reflection. Notice how this man isn't engaging with his pentacles. Pentacles represent physical reality, material things. He is choosing to reflect on them and evaluate them. He's not engaging with them. There's some space and distance in between. So you want to keep that in mind, that some detachment is necessary with everything you're going through. Now, there's a lot of energy happening, and so all of that can be overwhelming, and it's important for you to always be able to take a step back, to reflect every now and then, and contemplate, evaluate what is working, what is not working, and the best course of action moving forward. So first we have the Ace of Wands. As outcomes, this is like a fiery portal. You're going to be awakening to creative potential within you. You're going to be feeling a lot of passion towards something, towards expressing an aspect of yourself. So an authentic truth is going to be coming forward, maybe in the form of a creative project, in the form of something you're inspired to do within your career. This could also be pursuing a love relationship. Maybe feeling a lot of passion for somebody, you want to pursue that. So this is creative energy that is being realized, that is wanting you to express it, which is incredible. Like, that's always fun to experience. It makes you feel alive, it makes you feel free and expansive. And then you have the Hierophant, and the Hierophant as outcome tells me that if you're inquiring about love, about a relationship, this is going to take you to the next step. The Hierophant has everything to do with what is considered traditional in our society and this paradigm. And so this could be marriage, could be making things official, engagement, that sort of thing. Within a career or like a creative passion project, this can be studying, acquiring a skill, learning from somebody, and going the next step to solidify your passion, to set out a plan for it, and climb the ladder, the corporate ladder, if that is required. So making things tangible and real and acceptable in our current paradigm and social structure. The last card for outcomes is Justice. So this tells us that everything is going to go according to divine will. Everything you're experiencing right now is going to lead you to further universal balance. It's going to take you towards a state of homeostasis, more regulation in your nervous system, more healing and releasing of karma. You're going to get to a point of really feeling that balance, like you're in alignment with your truth and you're on the right path. So this is a really great omen, and I'm really happy to see this in the outcomes position. So really surrender to the nature of reality at this time and the way things are supposed to naturally unfold for you. Don't force anything, and you will surely get to universal balance at the end of this period. Now let's pull some messages from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? So I feel like this goes very well with the Knight of Cups, Ace of Wands, and Knight of Wands. Really risking it all to express your emotions and give that offer. Feeling the creative energy and realizing it and taking spontaneous action. Have you answered your deepest calling? And if you're like, what is my deepest calling? I have no idea. Starseed wants to ask you, well, what lights you up? What gets you playful and curious? What opens you to expansion? What lights you up? Who or what do you want to offer your heart to? And Anna, grandmother of Jesus, says, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. So this is all part of a divine plan. You're laying the foundations for something extraordinary. So seed the light, lay the foundations, and trust that all of this is happening for you, and this has to happen for the bigger thing that's yet to come. What a beautiful reading. I hope you found this helpful, group one. Let me know how it went in the comments below, and I would love to hear from you. I'm sending you so much love, light, and healing, and I'll see you in the next video, or maybe in the next reading. If you chose group 2, Rose Quartz, then this reading is for you. Okay, group 2. So we're going to begin with the Golden Universal Tarot, and I'm going to pull some cards for your current energies. Group 2. First card that you have is the Seven of Pentacles. This card has been really busy today. It came up for group 1 and for a reading I did for somebody else today. The Seven of Pentacles suggests that you are in a period of evaluation, review, reflection, and contemplation. You're not engaging so much with your physical reality at this moment. Rather, you're choosing to take a step back to evaluate what's worked and what hasn't, and how you want to move forward to set out a more efficient and effective game plan for the future. And I really like that for you. This is always good to do. We always need to periodically reflect, and this gives us the awareness we need to move forward on a better trajectory. So I really like this for you. And then you have the Two of Pentacles. So this could be the reason why you're doing so much reflecting. The Two of Pentacles is the energy of juggling two different aspects of life, sometimes even opposing aspects, and trying to keep both of them afloat. And a lot of us do this. I think we often call it the work-life balance. And a lot of us struggle with the work-life balance. Sometimes we go too far into work. Sometimes we slack on work, particularly if you're self-employed. That's something we fear doing. And so a lot of us are constantly juggling work and life and trying to make space for both and trying to be successful in both. That can be really difficult to do, and it can give us a lot of headache. It can make us feel overwhelmed from time to time. So you might be doing this quite successfully. You can probably also attest to the fact that it's made you overwhelmed from time to time, and perhaps right now. Then you have the Ace of Pentacles. This indicates some sort of change in your physical reality. So maybe you got promoted at work, or you're switching careers. Maybe you just got engaged, you're getting married, or you bought a new house and you're moving, switching locations. This is some sort of change in your physical reality. It's going to feel like an upgrade. Like this could also be an ending of a relationship too. That could be an upgrade. You're finally stepping into a more aligned version of reality. And with that, there are things to switch around, things to consider. You have to kind of take some time to calibrate to this new version of reality. So that can lead to some juggling as well, and contemplation and reflection. Lastly, for current energies, you have the Three of Pentacles. So you may be working with some other people, getting advice from others, learning from other people to make the most of your situation right now. And I would say that's a really good thing. This is a good time to rely on others, to learn from others, and also share a bit of your own knowledge as well. So this is a mutually beneficial experience. Relying on so teamwork is a really good thing for you right now, and you should embrace this fully. Now let's ask for some advice. What do you need to hear right now, Group 2? Okay. First we have the Three of Wands. You are like this man standing here looking out into the horizons, waiting for your ships to sail in. And when you're at the stage, you're asked to just fully receive, be in a receptive mode, and know that you're attracting what it is that you want to you. You don't have to go out and get it just yet. Receive, attract, and know that it's coming to you. Hold this energy of expansion, of knowing. Be receptive, and that's all you have to do at this time. In the future, you might be asked or initiated or called to meet your ships halfway. You might have to swim out there to your ships. But for now, receive, be receptive, feel expansive, and look out for opportunities. Look out for your ships. You also have the Three of Cups in reverse. And so I think this is trying to warn you of the shadow side of the Three of Pentacles. It's great to have teamwork and to learn from others, to fill your cup that way, right? But you don't want to get lost in the energy of others. You want to maintain your boundaries, to know where you end and where others begin. You don't want to rely on them or think that what they want for you is really what you want for yourself, if that makes sense. You still want to hold your boundaries and listen ultimately to your own intuition and internal guidance. Take what resonates and then work the rest out on your own. Don't rely on others too much emotionally. Don't get lost in the crowd. Make sure you're still having enough me time and spending time in your own energy instead of getting lost in other people's energy. And then you have the Page of Swords for advice. And this card invites you to be open and curious about learning more, about building on the ideas you currently have and gathering the facts around them. So Swords is the element of air, and it's all about the mind, your thoughts, words, and knowledge. It's the suit of the intellect. So you want to build on your intellect and what you know, and recognize that you don't know it all just yet, but you can gather the knowledge, the facts, and learn and study. And be curious about the learning process. Be open to learning more. And along with that, you want to maintain boundaries when it comes to your ideas and your mindset. Keep your guard up a little so you're not being swayed easily. You're not being discouraged by other people if they think your idea is a bad idea. You're, at the end of the day, still listening to yourself and what feels right for you. So protect your ideas, protect your mindset. You don't have to share everything with other people. Sometimes it's better to hold on to what we're manifesting and keep it a secret until it actually manifests, so it's not being muddled with other people's energies and opinions. So keep that in mind. And now I'm going to ask for outcomes, potential outcomes if you follow the advice of Tarot and Spirit. First we have the Empress as the outcome. And the Empress wants you to know that nothing good comes easily, and the creative process takes time. So you really have to incubate in your ideas, marinate in them, and allow the gestation process to do its thing. You can't rush it. And so you may be pregnant with ideas right now. Allow the pregnancy to, take its course. You can't rush it. The birthing of these ideas will happen eventually, but that's not up to you. That's up to the ideas, and if they've really gone to the point of readiness to be birthed. So keep that in mind and really sit in your sovereignty that all of this is happening for you, that you are the host for these ideas. You're mothering them, nurturing them into reality, and you're doing your job correctly if you're surrendered. So don't fear the wait, don't fear the process, surrender to it. So that's more like advice, but I think as outcome it gives you the idea that, okay, this will take some time and I can't expect things right away. But you know, at the end of the day, the ideas you have will come into fruition. The project will manifest. The desire you have will manifest. It's just going to take some time. And then you have the Knight of Swords in reverse. And this card tells me that you're going to be as connected to your gut instincts as you are to your intellect. And you're going to be seeing the nature of reality in a very mature way, which is always great. And I feel like we sort of started off with that as well, with your desire to see the nature of reality and to be more efficient and effective in your approach to reality. So you're really going to realize that and get a handle on it. And I want you to look at this imagery to feel the energy of this. When it's upright, the Knight of Swords is about being oblivious to the nature of reality. This man is charging into battle and he is determined. He has his sword up, he's ready. He's siding with his sword, meaning he's lost in his mind, lost in his thoughts, and that's preventing him from noticing that a storm is coming. It's preventing him from really feeling his gut instinct. The horse represents his primal side, and the horse looks worried. The horse is like, let's not do this. I don't think this is a good idea. And he's ignoring the horse, and he doesn't notice the storm. So this is the energy of being rash, being lost in your thoughts, and speaking without thinking, you know. And in reverse, this is recognizing that we can sometimes have a tendency to sway this way, and it's important to keep that part of ourselves in check, to recognize that you have to listen to your gut instinct as much as your intellect, and that you have to recognize the nature of reality if you want to navigate reality successfully and in a conscious, mature way. So I like this for you as outcome. Lastly, you have the Page of Wands, and it's really funny that you're getting this in the outcomes position. I feel like it reiterates what we just said with the Empress. I feel like this card wants you to know that the journey continues, that there is no beginning or end, and it's just the process, just the journey always. So if you're expecting like a conclusion to this reading, Spirit doesn't want you to have that. It wants you to realize that you're always going to be seeking for more. You're always going to be seeking growth, to master more skills, to master yourself, to learn more from life, and to create more. The human condition is to never be satisfied, and that can cause you a lot of suffering if you're constantly seeking satisfaction. But if you can surrender to this and treat it like a game, right? To realize that wanting to grow, wanting to acquire skills is part of the fun. This can be a really expansive energy to be in. As you can see here, he has his wand rooted on the ground. So he is grounded, he is realistic, he recognizes that things take time, that he has to learn skills step by step. You can't go from 0 to 100. So if you can take this realistic, grounded approach, recognize the skills that you want to acquire and master, and be open to learning them, then you're going to really enjoy the process. And so that's all for tarot. Now I want to pull some messages from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Lovely. You have the Star Mother. This asks, how can you mother yourself? So to me, this is the Empress energy. You have to mother your ideas, mother your creativity, and nurture it into being. So how can you mother yourself? Then you have Imrama. Where are you being called to journey to? So enjoy the journey, follow your inner guidance, allow yourself to be led. Oh, these are all questions, great. Lastly, boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So I feel like this card is exactly what we talked about here with the Three of Cups reversed and the Page of Swords. Protect your ideas. Don't let other people's opinions contaminate your spirit. And have better boundaries energetically and emotionally so you're not being swept up in other people's opinions. You can still learn from them and gain insight from them, but take what resonates and leave opinions and ideas that don't, so you're still following your own intuition and internal guidance. I would encourage you to use these questions as journal prompts to further integrate this reading and what you gain from it. And that is the end of your reading, Group 2. I hope you found it helpful, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I'm sending you so much love, light, and healing. I wish you all the best. I'll see you very soon. Take care. If you chose Group 3, Black Obsidian, then this reading is for you. Hi, Group 3. So we're going to first begin with your current energies, and I'm going to use the Golden Universal Tarot. Everybody likes this deck, so let's pull some cards for your current energies. Group 3, Black Obsidian, Group 3. First we have the Hierophant. As current energies, this can be related to how you are simply following the institutional, societal expectations right now. Maybe you're in school, you're just focused on your studies and getting good grades, or you're climbing the corporate ladder and doing your best in your job, focused on giving your all. Maybe this is, being a parent and doing your best as a parent and keeping a household. You are trying to meet society's expectations of you and doing your best in that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think there's a lot of happiness right now as well, because you have the 10 of Cups, which is so nice to see in your current energies. Now, I hope this resonates, but if it doesn't, that's okay too. This card is all about recognizing the beauty in life and being in complete awe of what you have, being in deep appreciation and gratitude. So as you can see in this image, this couple are together admiring all the cups they have. The cups represent emotions, so they're really feeling overwhelmed with their emotions and appreciating them. And yet they have their children over here also basking in all the beauty of this moment. So that's kind of the feeling of this card, and you may be feeling this, maybe you're not. Maybe this is what you want and you don't really feel it in this moment. But let's look deeper into your situation. You have the Magician in reverse, and so maybe you're feeling kind of stifled in your ability to manifest and cultivate a reality that you desire. This can be feeling like you've lost your mojo, like things aren't really clicking, they're not aligning the way you want them to, and you don't feel confident in your ability to create, to co-create. So yeah, I feel like maybe you don't feel this way, because when paired with the Magician, I just feel like if you really felt the Ten of Cups, you would also feel the Magician as well, and know that you can create the reality you desire. So having this in reverse is indicating that maybe the Ten of Cups is an energy that you want to tap into, something you want to deeply feel, but you can't seem to feel that. You don't have confidence in that. And what comes to mind is wanting to practice gratitude, for example. Everybody talks about how powerful gratitude is. If you can feel grateful for what you don't have yet, for what you're manifesting, then it comes into your reality because you're holding the energy of what you want to manifest. So gratitude is a very powerful tool, but it's not that accessible for everybody. It's not easy to feel grateful all the time. And so if you're struggling with feeling gratitude and appreciation, there's another way. There's another way to manifest and to be confident in your ability to create the reality you desire. So let's go into that. You also have two other cards which I think are important to look at. You have the Six of Swords. This is still in your current energies. This is the Six of Swords. You might be surprised to know that you are being guided more than you realize. You're like this man on a boat with somebody else rowing the boat. So if you can just allow yourself to be taken to calmer shores, you'll get there. There is guidance, there is support, even if you don't realize it. This man is retreating from a battle. He may be wounded, actually. He's definitely exhausted and tired. And so he's going from rough waters to calmer shores. And all he has to do is just sit there and rest. And the, what do you call this person? The boatman? Somebody else is rowing the boat. And that's what you have to know. This is a process. You simply have to surrender to it. Lastly, you have the Emperor. So some themes you may be focused on currently can be relating to authority, power, societal expectations, things that have to do with systems and structures. Could be rebelling against them, reconsidering them. And it's interesting that you have the Hierophant here as well. So as much as you may be really deep in these structures right now and following the system, I think there's a part of you that wants to reevaluate the system and authority and power, to reclaim some of that power for yourself instead of surrendering it to other people. And so this can be related to your father as well, or simply the father archetype. So this doesn't have to be your biological father or the father who raised you. This can also be like a teacher, political figure, a leader, your boss, somebody in the position of authority that can tell you what to do. So you're working with a lot of masculine energy and reconsidering authority, trying to reclaim your power. Very interesting thing. Now let's look into advice. What does Tarot want you to know? What advice the cards have in store for you? Okay. So I'm going to pair these two cards off together. We have the Five of Cups with the King of Cups. Let's start with the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is about focusing on the negative instead of the positive. And oftentimes people are quick to say, well, just turn around, look at the bright side, focus on the two cups that are still upright. You don't need to look at what's spilled, just look on the bright side. And me being a huge advocate for shadow work, I want to tell you the opposite. I want to tell you, allow yourself to mourn and grieve what you've lost, to feel the negativity, to look at your darkness, your shadows, and what's making you uncomfortable. This takes time. You cannot skip this part of the process, because if you do, you'll simply build a deeper, denser shadow. And we don't want that, because that just leads to less self-awareness and more inner resistance. So we want to take our time to focus on what we need to focus on. And at this time, it is what's making you uncomfortable. Look at that. Eventually, when you've processed this, you'll naturally want to look at the bright side. But you cannot go there prematurely. So that's really the wisdom of the Five of Cups, and I feel like nobody talks about this. So there you have it. That's your advice with the Five of Cups. And that will take you to emotional mastery, to the energy of the King of Cups. Because emotional mastery is not suppressing or controlling your emotions. It's not fearing your emotions and letting them take over either. Emotional mastery is being able to remain present despite all the discomfort you're feeling in your body. So it's like being the King of Cups sitting on his throne. To me, his throne represents presence. This is his huge window of presence and tolerance. And the waves are crashing against him. Water represents his emotions. So sometimes the waves are really strong, the tide is high, and the waves crash against his throne. But he sits there all high and mighty, unbothered. And so this is what we're striving for, the ability to sit in our emotions, like this image suggests, and not be wavered by our emotions, but rather hold space for them with full presence and awareness and detachment. This is not disconnect, it's detachment. So there's no fear, you're simply holding space. And so if you allow yourself to look at your discomfort, this can eventually take you to emotional mastery and being a master of shadow work. So that's really what it is. This is shadow work. And then you have the Two of Wands. As advice, this card wants you to get an idea of what it is you're looking for. What do you truly desire? Maybe you can list, things you want to manifest, the little things to the big things. Maybe you can write down the things you like and the things you don't like in various areas of your life, things you want to see more of, things you want to see less of, qualities that you want to attract in people and qualities that you want to not attract. And so get an idea, a better idea of what it is that you want to manifest into your reality so that you can begin to look out into the world and seek out opportunities to realize these desires. Lastly, surrender to your divine will. The Justice card is about universal balance and homeostasis, and that can only be achieved if you can allow your karma to play out, if you can allow the consequences of past actions to play out. And karma consequences don't always have to be bad. Sometimes they're just boring, mundane things. For example, if you committed to going to school, well, now you're in the midst of it, or maybe you're near the end, you might as well just complete your degree. It's like those things. Sometimes it can just be really boring because you said yes to this thing, and now you have to complete it before you can move on to the next thing. So surrender to your karma, and that will take you to your divine will. Allow things to play out and exhaust themselves. And now let's look at potential outcomes. First we have the Five of Pentacles in reverse. So this is a releasing of insecurities, of lack, a scarcity mindset. And I think this makes a lot of sense because you're currently battling with some themes of authority and power. You're trying to get your mojo back, feel like you're in control of your life. And so that will naturally lead you to some really uncomfortable emotions, particularly from your childhood. So this is the energy of the wounded inner child. It's the energy of abandonment, like you don't have enough, like you don't deserve enough, and that people have kind of left you out in the cold and, made you believe that you're just not good enough to have what you want. So this is going to require you to look into your childhood and some experiences that you had which may have left you wounded. You have to address some childhood pains, particularly around parental attachment. So maybe you felt abandoned or neglected by your parents, perhaps by your father or a father figure in your life. You have to process that now. The neglect, the fact that they weren't able to meet your needs, or they made you feel small, insignificant, or abandoned. You have to process that now so that you can reclaim your power and feel like you're in your right to have what you want. So right now you don't feel like you can have what you want. So you have to process the pain of the past before you can get to that feeling. And this can be why you're struggling to extend appreciation and gratitude to your current reality. So this is like the inner work that you have to do, right? In your external reality, you're going to have to embody the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords gets a bad rep. She's usually spoken of as a cold, distant, sharp figure, and the truth is she does this to protect herself. She's really good at it, and I feel like you need to embody her in this process of healing. So you're going to be able to tap into her energy, I feel like, very soon, since this is the outcomes position. Maybe not yet, but soon. And the feeling is like being sharp and being quick with your words and speaking things clearly in a way that protects your ideas, thoughts, feelings, and inner reality. So if people challenge you, you have a way of speaking that puts them in their place, so they're not influencing how you feel about yourself. So you're going to be embodying this energy in the future. Maybe you're learning to right now. And this is really going to serve you in the healing process, because it's important to protect your energy, to also realize that you can stand up for yourself, that you can speak in such a way that helps you maintain your dignity and authority. And lastly, you have the Sun. Now, I love this for you in the outcomes position, because at the beginning we talked about how you feel like you lost your mojo and can't seem to really tap into the energy of the Ten of Cups. And the Sun is just such a nice conclusion to that problem, because the Sun card is like the ultimate confirmation card you can get in the entire deck. It is a big yes from the universe. This is the feeling of being provided for as the Sun shines on all living things, and all living things have this inner knowing that, yes, we're provided for. Yes, the sun will shine tomorrow, and I'll continue to feel abundant, to have what I need, because the warmth, the radiance, and light will be there. And so this is like, I would say, an even deeper expression and embodiment of the Ten of Cups. This goes even deeper, and it's also the major arcana. So this is also a huge spiritual lesson, to be able to understand this energy and embody it in your life. It's knowing that you're provided for, that you are abundant, like this innocent child in a field of sunflowers, with complete purity, light. You know you are safe. You know you'll have this light, warmth, and radiance always. And so this is the most beautiful energy to finish our reading with. I'm so happy that you have this at the end of your reading, of your spread. Now I'm going to pull some messages from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. first message you have is mirror. Who or what is triggering you? So I feel like this is speaking to the Emperor, the Hierophant, this some situation that's triggered a desire for you to reclaim your power and authority, and that's triggered these deeply uncomfortable emotions from the past. Who or what is triggering you? Get clear on that and relate that to your past. Do they remind you of somebody from the past? Does the situation reflect a similar experience from the past? Is the situation a reenactment of the past? Because the stories we make up about the present actually tell us more about the past than what's actually going on right now. So everything's a mirror. Does the situation remind you of a past situation? And the people you're dealing with, do they remind you of people from the past? Notice the mirroring. The stories we make about the present tell us about the past. Then you have unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So allow yourself to look at the discomfort, look at pain from the past, the abandonment, scarcity mindset, and know that you're releasing and mastering your emotions. You're being guided to something better, to a more expansive and realized version of you. This also goes with the Justice card, actually. You're releasing karma and contracts so that you can live in alignment to your divine will. Lastly, deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. So that's the Six of Swords speaking. Allow yourself to be held, to be gently guided to calmer shores. You need deep replenishment right now. So simply rest and retreat. Retreat to calmer shores. Rest your body, your mind, your spirit. That's such a gentle note to end this reading on. So that was your reading group 3. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know how it went in the comments below. And also, since I spoke a little bit about shadow work and learning to face discomfort and, the pain of the past, I want to let you know that I'm going to be hosting a free live workshop at the end of this month, and I don't know if I'll have the link up when I upload this video, but it'll be up in a week or two, and I'm going to talk a lot about it and promote it, so you'll hear about it. And I would love to see you there, because we'll talk about shadow work, subconscious work, learning to face our emotions so we're not self-sabotaging all the time, being in inner resistance, and so we can reclaim our power and sense of authority and manifest more easily. So really hope to see you there, and if you can't make it, you can follow me on Instagram, because I share a lot about shadow work over there. Anyways, I'm sending you so much love, healing, and light, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being here. Take care.